Yeah.
Well, Leanna Langley, welcome to the Producer
Aaron, I
Podcast.
know.
Thank you so
It's
much
been a
for
minute.
joining me. It
Yeah.
has been a minute. It's
Yeah.
probably been 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, at least. At least.
But I've always been so fond of you and your business,
Thanks.
and just you lead by example. You lead with love, and
Yes.
you care about the people you work with, and
Yeah.
you're very intentional, and you communicate
Right.
what you're about so
Yeah.
effortlessly.
Yeah,
So thank you
well,
for joining, and
Yeah, thanks.
I'm excited to talk about your business and talk about you. So,
Yeah, thanks. Well,
yeah.
first of all, I mean, can we even not even talk about how amazing spring is
Yes.
today? I love it.
The first couple, this is March 15th. It's my
Yes.
beautiful mother's birthday.
Aw,
And
happy birthday,
God
Mom.
brought the sunshine for her today.
Yeah. You
But
can't beat it. Oregon Spring Day. That's why people visit.
so lush and green.
Yes,
and
it is.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's bringing a new type of energy to everyone,
It
I
does.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of energy,
Yeah.
how about that market?
Okay. Market
Tell me about that.
it is picked up for me. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think it is a byproduct of all the hard work,
Right.
over the last months,
Right.
right? Of just being in the right places and talking to the right people and communicating what, I think is necessary to my clients and
Yeah.
potential clients and my real estate partners and
Right.
everything with that. But yeah, I've seen mortgage applications probably increase. I said 1,000%. It is
Right.
like trying to drink from a fire hose right
Yeah.
now, which is good. I mean,
Yes.
I can't believe
Yeah, we're
it.
happy.
With interest rates still being, in not a very super comfortable
Right.
position for most.
Yeah.
The fact that people are jumping in and at least
Mm-hmm.
looking into it is huge for us.
Yeah.
Know,
Well-
and the market 100%.
Yeah. I feel like last year, don't you feel like everybody just took a step back?
Yeah.
Everybody was waiting, and
Yeah.
then nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean,
Right.
we were still doing transactions and selling homes and helping
Yeah.
people build wealth, but it was really, I mean, honestly, the time to get a home,
Mm-hmm.
right, was
Oh,
last year.
yeah.
I saw huge concessions given, right?
And with those concessions
Yes.
came what? Massive rate buy downs.
Yes,
So they could manipulate
right,
their mortgage monthly payment
right.
because they were getting these large
Yeah,
concessions,
like 25,000.
25,000 or
huge
more
amount.
in some case
Yes.
scenarios, up to 6% on conventional deals.
Yeah.
So if you hear this, you can get a large concession from a seller and you can
Yes.
play that to your advantage and get it at the price that you want and buy your interest rate down 1% or 2% or due to the 2-1 buy. I mean, that
Yes.
makes you so much more powerful in your purchasability.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing
And
too
affordability,
is
too.
like we're seeing homes sit longer.
Yeah.
We're seeing more inventory come on,
Yes.
more selection for buyers. And also, I mean, we're talking 45, 60 days homes are sitting and those
Yeah.
sellers are like, hey, what do I need to do? It's out
Yeah.
there. We've marketed. It's on
Mhm.
social media, the whole thing. And
Mhm.
so, be sure to work with an agent that is aggressive enough to go in there and write that offer.
And creative, right?
Yes.
You just have to know the right things
Yes.
to ask.
Right.
You have to assess the correct properties.
Yeah.
And that's why I love just scouring Zillow.
Right.
I like to help lay up my clients into a home I'm just as much in the search as you
Right.
are.
Yeah.
Because that
Yes.
commission is for both of us.
Yeah.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
Right. It takes a village to close a deal.
Right.
And I understand that if I'm looking at investment properties, then I probably should for my clients as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love that we just dove right in because
Yeah,
that
I
is,
mean,
but that is
that's-
kind of at the top of our minds, obviously. So
Yes.
we're excited about it.
Mhm.
And we're eager and the sun's shining.
Yes, yeah. People are out, people are buying. And what I'm finding another amazing opportunity for everybody right now buying and selling is we've got sellers that have sat and have struggled to transition, right?
Yeah.
So you've got your first time homebuyer house, they got in 5-6 years ago.
Mhm.
The last couple of years has been brutal. Like if you needed that equity to buy, you were getting kicked,
Yeah.
kicked out. And now there's this amazing pocket of time
Yes.
right now where we are able to transition you. We go write the offer, got a couple of these waiting right now
Yeah.
for sellers to respond, and we are ready to go live.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. And I
like, we
think one
can
of the
move people around
yeah.
finally.
Exactly, exactly. And I
So,
think one of the cooler things that I want you to talk about is how you have developed yourself and how you cover such a large geographical,
oh yeah, the area.
area, right?
Yes.
You're working anywhere. I've seen you have listings. I mean, I'm sure up in Portland too, but Salem, Greater Salem, and Albany, Lebanon,
Yeah.
Sweet Home. I mean,
Yes.
you stretch far.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would love to hear it because I have a hard time just driving up to Portland sometimes in the middle of the day
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that just takes me away from my desk and I'm on the phone and
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
keep things
Well,
together. But
the good news
it's hard.
is, yeah, I've got awesome referral partners in Portland. So
Yeah.
I stop in like Salem. Like
Salem.
that's
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
cutoff is Harrisburg.
Sure.
Anybody else, it's like making a call to our partners.
It's
in
worth
Eugene
that.
and
It's
Portland.
not worth that time.
Oh, that's the
Unless
thing.
it's a $2-3 million listing, you might take it.
Well,
But
even then, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
agents
And
know
you don't have that knowledge
area.
of the market.
No.
Exactly.
No,
So that
you can't
shows your
price it,
professionalism.
you can't. Yeah,
And what you do and
Right.
understanding what
Yeah.
you can and can't or
Right.
don't want to
Yeah.
have to do your due diligence
Right.
on because that
yeah.
just shows.
Well, it doesn't serve the client at the highest level.
I
So
love that.
yeah.
Value. That's
Right.
valuable.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we go.
Yes.
We've gotten some great things from that already.
Yeah.
But tell us, I would love to hear kind of your story. How did you get in? And I don't. You can dive in as much as you want,
Yeah,
as little
yeah,
as you want.
yeah.
But how it's developed into what it is now,
How
and
I
just
got
to
here.
see, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, everybody, I was just at conference and they're telling us like, how people are always like, oh yeah, so you sell real estate. Yeah, but I used to do this. I used to do that. And, they were basically communicating like, stop saying that. Just say, I sell real estate. I'm a realtor, professional, help people build wealth.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
the
I'm on the
story-
same group. That's perfect.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, the story is back in another life. Yes, I was in the automotive industry. I was actually in the service drive with Toyota
Wow.
for 13 years.
Wow.
And so fast paced, I mean,
Yeah.
crazy busy.
Like a race
And
NASCAR shot.
yeah.
Getting people in and out. Yeah.
Yep. And there was an agent at Town and Country over in Corvallis who brought their vehicle in. And anyway, the rest is history. It was like, oh, you should try this. And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, so got my
Yeah.
license, started with a boutique company there at Town and Country, and then moved to
Yeah.
Remax,
Yeah.
hung out with the balloon, then went to another boutique.
Hung out with
Then,
That's fun.
yeah, hung out with the balloon.
Yeah.
And then went to Cadwell. And then now recently, I made the jump into another franchised company,
Yeah.
which I've really loved. I loved everything they stand for,
Yeah.
which our slogan for our company is humans over houses,
Wow.
which means we are putting our clients' needs, serving them at the highest level, and, just being there in
Yeah.
a time where, they really need that direction.
100%.
They need, listing or on the buy side, especially, we're not going to go in the weeds with
Yeah.
all these things with NAR, but
Sure.
when we're talking about buyer representation and walking into the biggest investment of their life and needing a buyer's agent to help guide,
Yeah.
it's very, very important that you're protected.
Yeah. 100%.
So-
And we could go on for
Oh yeah,
months-
that's a whole nother
months about value.
podcast. Yeah,
Right? Whole nother
yeah,
podcast, and we probably can
Yeah.
do that in the future.
right.
Um,
But that's my story. So service industry, I mean, even as a kid, I was helping my parents with their own business. So
Wow.
it's always been just kind of in my blood to serve. So
yeah,
Yeah, here I am.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that, and
Yeah.
the versatility there, and
Yeah.
and then the influence that seeing that the dealership and their processes
Right.
and their speed and everything that's the
Oh,
very
yeah.
microscopic things that
Yeah.
details that some people might not
Right.
appreciate or notice. is also in your
Right.
DNA in real estate of
Yes. Yeah.
processes and speed to respond and
Yes.
all these different things that
Yes.
you need.
Yes. Definitely speed to respond. Yeah.
Because that is what develops a relationship and
Right.
trust and validates that trust
Yeah.
and relationship as well. And I love that you said, well, it's relationships.
Right.
That,
Yeah.
and that's what pretty much, that is the general consensus with most producers, as they say, relationships.
Yeah.
And within relationships, communication, because
Right.
communication is what helps nurture and
Yeah.
continue that relationship.
Right.
And then within that is also value, providing
Yeah.
value and education.
Right.
And that is the kind of the I guess the holy grail of I'm hitting lights now.
Right.
The holy grail of what
Yeah.
building a business is off of.
Yeah.
So you live in Sweet Home,
I do.
correct?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just roll all over the county. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Albany,
Lynn County,
yeah,
it's
Lynn.
Benton County, it's Marion,
Yeah.
even Polk.
We need to do a day in the life of Leanna. That would be so fun.
Just rolling
Let's
those
choose your
miles
kind of like
up.
Ryan
Yeah.
Searhart or whatever. I was
Right.
like, let's get your busiest day.
Right.
And let's see all these, because
Right.
you might be in Albany downtown.
Right.
And then you might be on a 100-acre farm.
Yeah.
And, and what else? On
yeah.
a river. I mean,
Yeah.
you probably see more of the most beautiful properties
I
in
do.
the Willamette Valley than
do.
most people get to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if you're just a boutique out of Salem, and don't expand, and Salem has some beautiful areas.
It does,
especially as you go. I mean, as you go out into Greater Salem, Mill City,
Oh, God.
and
I know.
the canyon.
Yes.
Those are some of my favorite properties too.
Yeah.
But
I know.
so cool.
Sometimes I'll be, rolling around. You're rolling through farmland, like on the way to Brownsville. I was going there yesterday, and I really, I know a lot of people have that misconception of, oh, we have so many people moving here. It's getting so crowded. But I want you to take a day
Yes.
and look at it with fresh eyes. You've never been here and
Mhm.
look around. I mean, we're talking rolling green fields,
It's
flowers.
untouched, and
Yeah.
we are one of the
love
number
it.
one agriculture.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. All
uh,
those hazelnut
profitable
trees.
states
Yeah.
in the nation.
Yes.
No one knows that we produce the most Christmas trees.
Right.
We're one of the top producers in wine, in the
Yeah.
wine industry, in
Yes.
vineyards.
Yeah.
And
Hazelnuts.
hazelnuts.
Yep.
And it
Grass
keeps going.
seed.
Grass seed is the top in the
Yes.
world. That's at the
Yeah.
FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
And then you talk about Salem, even here, the
Right.
second biggest park, a city park in the nation, is this
Right.
because they connected the bridge
Yes.
to I never can remember what that park is called. I always say Spong's Landing because that was Kaiser. No, that is. Anyways, the
Yep.
three bridges in Salem connect
Yeah.
three different parks: Wallace Marine, Riverfront.
And Bush, right? Isn't Bush
Not
Park
Bush.
somewhere
Bush
in there?
is right here.
Oh,
I'm going to lose
okay.
my mind with
Anyway,
forgetting
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway, fresh eyes. Look
Yes.
at our state, and let's talk about. I've visited back east,
Yeah.
with family, and I'm like, can we? I don't know, have some fresh fruit?
yes.
I mean, it's just not. Yeah, we live in just a
strawberries.
mecca of
Oh my
awesome
gosh.
goodness. So
And these
anyway,
people are developing
Yeah.
they're getting even better too.
yeah,
And they're developing more, and we're growing. And Oregon's growing, but it's so expansive. There's so much more room than you think.
there is.
And they're building these little baby plants. They're shipping them off all over the world.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars of business.
Yeah.
And we're bringing Oregon to everywhere. I mean, when I fortunately got the opportunity to go to Europe,
Yeah.
I was in multiple countries and at some restaurants and
Seeing Oregon wine.
Willamette Valley wine.
Yes.
Willamette
that
Valley
wild?
vineyards. I
Yeah.
mean, Eola. I mean, all of
Right.
these are. It's because
We're-
why? Because we're able to
Yeah.
produce more because their roots and vineyards and vines in France, which is on the same parallel, the 40
Right, that's right.
parallel
It is.
as us.
Yep. A lot of people don't know that.
That is
Yes.
the premium soil
It is.
across the
Yeah.
across
And
the
for
world.
hazelnuts.
And for hazelnuts. So we're able to see a beautiful kind of creation we're so new to the world, I guess,
Right.
of agriculture,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
we're making big waves, which is cool. I
Yeah.
love that we talked about that.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's a big influence on
Yeah.
us because we help
Yes.
farmers
Yes.
and we help people in that industry
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
So being able to speak their language is also necessary. and the agriculture events at the convention center are so cool. I just got to learn about they're creating hazelnut butter, and it's so good. It is so good, and it's just
I gotta get me some of that.
I have a couple extras.
Oh,
Give you some.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But hearing guys like
Yes.
Jordan Truitt talk about their developments around town, and everyone else there's so many different people that have a hand
Yeah.
in that and creating something incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about what makes your process unique. What does your team look? I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm going to be a home buyer and I'm choosing Leanna, what is that going to look like for me?
Yeah. Well, I think it's most important, especially, I feel like the buyers kind of get like, you're meeting them in a house, you're showing it, it's just like, it speeds up so fast. And I think sometimes buyers don't have a chance. Suddenly they're in contract and they're like, and then they've got outside influences and
Yeah.
it's like a scary time. And so let's rewind all that and just say, the very first thing we do is sit down and we have a conversation.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then it's like, okay, here we are. What brought you to this decision to,
Right.
make the jump from either renting or living with mom and dad or some relative or roommates, whatever that
There's a
is.
reason.
And it's like, what's their why?
Mm.
And they're like, well, I want to have a dog. I want to, maybe keep this house as a rental and move up. And so it's like bringing that out of them so I can understand how to, sell them
Yeah.
their first home.
Yeah.
And it's very important to explain the process.
Uh-huh.
Or what is earnest money? How much is an inspection going to cost?
Education.
What if we fall out of contract? I have to still pay for the next inspection. I'm not, so
Yeah.
there's some upfront costs that need to be explained. And so that way people aren't just, you're not calling and go, okay, earnest money time. And
Right. No, they
they're
have to be
like,
prepared, right?
what?
And
Yeah.
that comes with education.
Yeah.
And I think you're so valuable with you hear their story.
Right.
You listen.
It's important.
And that just shows that you're so savvy with understanding the relationship aspect. Starts
Yeah.
with listening.
Yes.
And hearing what
Right.
they need so that you can now inform, educate, and provide value.
Yes.
Which is, I'm
Yeah.
just going to keep saying that. I guess
Right.
that's my verse today.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful. I love that. What are some things that you're seeing even in your market, or some things that you would like to talk about or bring to this? Is there any different deals that you've seen, or funny things that
Yeah.
might stick out to you right now? That
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every buyer or seller and house
Mhm.
has a story.
Yeah,
And there can be super funny things, there can be sad things,
Yeah.
as you're transitioning people out of their homes. I mean, that's their shelter,
Right.
super important.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, funny things I see running
Yeah.
around.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, we were up at a house and one of the kids found a snake. So that
Oh.
was
we're
You
at
know,
just out in the
out in the
field.
yard,
Yeah.
and of
Wow.
course they're running it over to their mom. And
Grabbing it. That's that rural feel. I love that. I love that.
Out in the rural.
Okay,
sticks.
another good
Yeah,
question for
yeah.
you too.
Yeah.
New construction. Talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
that development,
Yeah,
your
sure.
partnerships in that sector,
Yeah.
and how that is also a huge aspect
Yeah.
of first-time home buyers, and the value in that.
Yeah, so new construction, I do help people move through, when I was agent at Cadwell, we had big developments that
Yeah.
I helped out with.
Sure.
And, aside from just working on some of those subdivisions, I also represent buyers when they're buying with Lennar or Holt Homes or any of the other
Right.
big production
Yes.
builds.
Yes.
And, those relationships are super important.
Mm.
First of all, I value those people that are out there grinding in those subdivisions
We were
24/7
just with them this morning.
day.
Yeah.
They are, that's a whole other niche.
I think
will.
understanding that and them and how
Yes.
crucial they are
Right.
to the market, because
They're
they are
huge.
creating inventory.
Yes.
They're creating affordable housing.
Yeah.
they are local businesses. They are,
Yeah.
local contractors. And so
Right.
it just goes so deep.
It does. Yeah.
Um,
And I love forming relationships with those agents there because at
yeah,
the end, they always, my clients will be cruising through on a weekend and they're like, "Hey, your clients are here." And,
right.
they really
I
are
think
great with
I
that.
think the concept of building an actual
Yeah.
community
Yes.
that's got to be the coolest thing as
Right.
a builder.
Yeah.
Of like, I get
Yeah.
to bring this my vision of
Right.
what I dream this section, this 29,
Yeah. Isn't
27
it
phase
crazy?
subdivision to life.
Yeah.
And no one sees what's all under it. It's like, the tip of the iceberg type thing.
Oh,
No
yeah.
one, Dale was remodeling, Dale Van Lydegraf was
Yeah.
just talking about, well, this is all the piping and all this stuff, but under this, there's other things, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's already a 10-foot hole,
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many things that go into the
Oh, I
development
know.
is beyond me.
Yeah.
Right? I can't
Yeah.
even begin to wrap my mind
Oh,
around
yeah.
of how many hands touch
Yeah.
that now.
Oh, it's a
new
huge
construction.
driver in the economy.
Man, it is.
Huge. We
Yes.
absolutely need those people building
Yeah.
just to put people in homes or like people want homes.
Right. And their sole focus is most of them is keeping it affordable
Yes.
for mostly the
Yeah.
first time home buyers or the young
Yeah.
families.
Right. And that's
And
another podcast.
yes, and I guess what I was just talking about
Yeah.
with you is we need to reframe our mindset on this is a first-time home buyer.
Right.
Let's just throw that word away.
Yeah.
This is their first real estate investment.
Yes.
This is their first opportunity
Yeah.
to invest in real estate because it is an investment.
Right.
These people, it's crucial for them to understand that they can leverage this investment, that
Right.
they can use it for a business,
Yeah.
if they have equity, that they can turn it into more units or another second home or an investment property. And people don't really, I think in the olden, kind of the old way of thinking is, I'm going to just, stay here and maybe I'll move up in home and I'm just
Yeah.
going to own 2 homes in my life and try to pay it off.
Right. Which
In
is
30 years.
not even the truth. And when I'm working with first time buyers, I do remind them, sometimes you get burnout. You're like, I don't like this house. But what I can afford, blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to give up. And it's like, you're only going to be there 2 to maybe 4 years. That's
Yeah.
it. I promise you.
Right. And
Yes.
the other massive thing is almost everyone's best investment has been
Yeah,
real estate, has been their first home.
It is.
So why would you not be eager and devout and
right.
earnestly trying to get more? We've
Yeah.
seen so many people create hundreds of thousands of dollars in net worth. Net worth, equity is net worth.
Yes.
And what other savvy businesses and owners and investors do is they leverage equity.
Right.
They take a small amount of risk, calculated risk, and
Yes.
they put it into something else.
Yeah.
Right? They use that to get more.
Right.
And that's the reframing that conversation and mindset and mentality is absolutely paramount for us to do and for us to deliver to our clients.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it really goes back to we're sitting at the table. And
Right.
we're having conversation.
Yeah, and we're
Like, what's
calling
the
them
end
with
goal?
valuable
Right.
information. And that goes back to like the new construction, Fannie Mae,
Yes.
Freddie Mac, 5% down. That's great. But there's no inventory, 2 to 4 units in multifamily. So being able to create a construction program
Right.
that is land and site development and construction all in one and build a fourplex,
Right.
$1 million one, $50,000 down.
Yeah.
Why would you not at least look into that? You got a kid going to OSU and you can
Yes.
build a fourplex
Yeah,
and he
right.
can be your owner occupant. Create these stories for them. Tell, give them an idea.
Right.
You have a mom that's
Yes.
downsizing, wants to sell her house and cash
Right.
out. I hit the lights again. Sell her house and cash out.
Yeah.
And can be your owner occupant next door and build in this open lot that you have
Yeah.
that has the square footage and the lot setbacks
Right.
that are necessary for a fourplex or a threeplex or a duplex.
Right.
And it only takes this much of your equity to buy it.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
great.
Why not?
Yeah.
I get on fire for that. And that's how I've really, I've developed as a loan officer, and I'm thinking about people in a completely different mindset and manner than I ever had. And treating them as if I was speaking to a brother or a family member.
Right.
And just giving them my thoughts and 2 cents on this isn't just a VA. This isn't just a
Right.
conventional. This isn't just a client buying their first home.
Yeah.
This is someone that it could use me for life and trust me with educating them
Yeah.
and providing value.
Yeah.
And that's powerful, and we need to treat it as such.
Right. It's
Yeah.
important. It's not just one and done,
Hmm.
you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can see that's very evident
Yeah.
in what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
What else would you like to cover in this time? Do you have anything?
I know you mentioned social media,
Oh, yes,
and
yes,
yeah,
I'm glad.
so
Thank you for
really, really quick on that. I mean, thankfully, luckily for me, I have a kid who helps
Yeah.
me do all the behind the scenes ideas and
Mhm.
films the social media and, cuts it and does
Yeah.
all editing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as advice, is it easy to get in front of a camera? No, not really. I mean, but what you're conveying is, first of all, people are watching you.
Yes.
I look at social media as a resume
Ooh.
because if you are being referred, Google, Insta, maybe
Yeah.
YouTube. I mean, and they are seeing, hey, can I trust this person? Can I relate to this person?
Mhm.
And
Trying to find connectors.
yes.
Yeah.
And so if I'm there talking about, my dogs or, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
something funny,
Mhm.
the public already knows you're selling real estate.
Yeah.
Sure, yes, we're advertising listings, we're sharing sold buyer stories, but
And I
give
think-
me some good stuff.
Yes. And something new.
Yes.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we see all the very typical vanilla
Yeah.
real estate, and I'm not trying to bash on
No,
anyone.
and you have to start somewhere.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is manifested.
I was the same
and
way.
created. Sure. Yeah.
But you got to find how to convey your personality.
And your story.
Yes.
And you should be 80% personal
Yeah,
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because that tells who you are.
Right.
That helps them relate to you. And
Yes.
20% business.
Right.
Drop in those pieces of things that are valuable, but really your business should be, I view myself as just as much a media and marketing company
Yes,
as I
yes.
do a loan officer
Mhm.
and mortgage consultant.
Yeah.
Because I am a business.
Right.
I am a brand.
Yes.
I am a personal
yes,
brand.
Yes.
And
exactly.
the better I am at conveying my brand and telling my brand story and being
Right.
involved in my community,
Yep.
as expansive as that can be and exhausting as that can be.
Yes.
And this is easy because we're going to be talking for 30 minutes and now we're going to get 20, 30 reels from it.
Right. Right.
Just because we were having a conversation in a meeting. This
Yeah,
is
right.
recorded copy,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes it so much more streamlined when you're able to think about it in that sense.
Yeah, the other thing I learned too, we just had convention down in Vegas with Next Home, and one of the things they told us up on that stage was, first of all, anyone who is too afraid to do social media, you will just float away because the people who are the loudest in this market and conveying their brand, like you said, or their value or how you can be related to will have the market share.
Yeah. I'd say 50% of my business right now comes from social media now or some way, shape or
Yes,
form, connection,
yes.
top of mind awareness. It is huge and it is a massive, it is a dynamic and catalyst to a lot of
Yes,
business. And it allows me to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like you probably can respect some things that I've been doing and I love what you're doing.
Thanks.
So why would we not collaborate?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Super fun being here.
Yeah.
And
Well, thank you so much.
It's good to see you.
Yes.
It's super, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
For
yeah.
sure.
I'm a different version for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. In a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
ways.
exciting.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so good to see you and catch up with
Yes.
you. And I
Yeah.
would love to do this again
Yeah,
and
for
chat
sure.
more for
For
sure.
sure.
There'll be more
Yes.
business to be had
Yeah.
between us.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good to see you. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Yes. Yes.
Leanna Langley.
Yes.
What is the new book?
It is Next Home
Next
Realty Connection. We have an office right here in Salem.
Perfect.
Yes.
Oh, right here in Salem?
And Portland.
Oh, even better. So
Yeah.
now I can hop over.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yes.